to the oddest little podcast on the internet. We are the Odd Pod. What's going on? My name is Stacy Kruger. Who the hell are you, goofy boys?
I am Lil Casual.
Lil Casual.
I am Red Hazard Want Coin.
We've been talking about Binding of Isaac nonstop before the stream started. Apparently, before the podcast started. God damn, I'm doing it again, guys.
GG, get wrecked.
Apparently, Rad wants to make familiars of both me and Casual. My familiar would walk into the room and destroy the entire room by swearing at everything. What's that?
You wouldn't destroy everything. You would just, that would be your bullets. It would just be swear words.
Fuck, shit, fuck, cut, fuck. And Casuals would be mass room damage. It would take double what Mega Satan's head takes to charge.
Yeah.
Mass room damage.
Because I'm so apathetic that it takes me forever to charge. But then, what was it you said that I do, Rad?
You press the button and all little Casual just goes, meh.
And then everything in the room faints of apathy.
Just fucking slaughter everywhere. Meh. God damn it. Oh, well, this is off to a great start already. How you guys doing? It's great to talk to you guys again. We missed a week. How have you all been?
Well, other than wrecking Isaac and modding cars in GTA, I've just been living life.
Rad, anything fun, exciting going on with you? Enjoying Cuphead still?
No, I'm done with that. I have no intention of ever 100%ing that game.
Really?
That's actually a great segue to talk about Cuphead. I know it's not on our topic list, but who cares?
They can't see the topic list as far as the listeners know. Just make it up as we go.
So here's, I have an opinion on Cuphead.
No.
And it's a couple opinions. One is that, first of all, I didn't even know this game was even a thing. Like, until it turned up on Twitch and everybody and their dog was playing it, I was like, what? What is this? So I've watched it.
Yeah.
And it looks phenomenal. Like, the visuals look exactly like it's intended. It's like out of a 30s cartoon. From what I can tell and what everybody seems to be experiencing, listening to the streamers and people that have played it in the chat, It apparently plays very well. It's very tight controls, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And from a speedrunning perspective, it sounds like it's going to be a big speedrunning game. Like, it sounds like the speedrunning community is going to turn this into another, Metroid or Super Mario.
Speaking of speedrunning, current world record is just a shade over 28 minutes.
Jesus.
Already? Wow.
Yes, all bosses on regular.
So here's my thing, though. The big streamers, the ones that get the big views that play whatever game comes out fresh, they've all played Cuphead. They played it within the first day of its release. They beat it within the first 3 days. If they were not as good, maybe it took them 5 days. None of them are playing it anymore. And I don't see any of them getting back to it either. Like, this is the thing about this kind of game. It's kind of like if you've ever played Bit Trip Runner. Does anybody?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Okay. So Bit Trip Runner is one of these games where you play through it once, you go, that was fun. It's a good game. It's well made. It looks pretty. But then you never touch it again.
Yeah. Sounds about right, honestly. It's a fun... You're right. Bit Trip Runner was a blast, but the problem is after you beat it, you're like, well, there's no RNG in it. Excuse me, luck. I forgot.
Right.
There's a lot of people who hate the term RNG. We have to be, sensitive to our RNG sensitive viewers, our listeners, whatever. It's an old joke from a streamer who was ranting and raving. Moving on, guys.
RNG PC. Politically correct.
You're an RNG cyst.
God damn it. RNGs. Moving on. But, there's zero RNG. It's all 100% coded to be exactly this at the exact time, just like I want to be the Bashi. It's exactly how it's meant to be. So how can you really play it over and over and over again when it's the same exact thing unless you're planning on speedrunning? So, of course, there's going to be no real future in the game past where it's at. You know what I mean?
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. In fact, what is it? It's like a $20 game, and honestly, I think it's worth more than that. But at the same time, I think they were. This is an example, in my opinion, of a game developer that is actually good at their job in every aspect. They charged just the right price because people are all going to be like, oh, well, it's only $20. I'll try it out.
Mm-hmm.
They find that they like it or they don't. There are some people that don't particularly like the style or whatever. And they make their sales. The speedrunning community makes it famous. And the game continues on, but it's never played on Twitch again, except for speedrunners.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just kind of wish more game developers would be smart like that.
Jesus. You all suck and are idiots. I get what you're saying. I do. I hope that it gets a resurgence because it's fun to watch. I mean, I've been kind of searching out people just to play it. I'm going to play it myself at some point, sooner or later. I'm afraid to play it on stream because I have a funny feeling I'm going to want to kill everything that moves. But
well, yes. I can see there is a frustration level to the game. They do have an easy mode that is apparently really easy, which, by the way, another thing they did right. Because a lot of times game developers put in an easy mode, but it's only easy in the sense that it's slightly easier than the normal mode.
That's a great question. Why? Why do game designers do that?
Well, I mean, I can't speak to the specifics, but I think the general consensus is that everybody, and I am in the minority when it comes to wanting games to be easier. Mm-hmm. There's only a couple games that I enjoy at a hard level, and they're few and far between. But what I will say is generally people like a challenge, so when they make their game, they make it to challenge a particular audience. Like, mm-hmm. This is the audience we're aiming for. This is the age range, whatever.
Yeah.
This is our challenge level. Then for those that they think it might be too hard, they put in an easy mode, but they don't make it easy. They just make it less challenging than the normal mode. And sometimes, FTL, I'm looking at you, it's not easy, it's just less challenging. And for me, it's just a semantics argument.
I suppose, but at the same time, it goes back to the age-old argument of how do you make something easier? Of course, it all goes game to game. I mean, don't get me wrong there.
Yeah.
But how do you pull that off?
No. So that's the other thing. It comes down to semantics for me. Like, if you were to say easier, then I wouldn't be so angry when it's not easy. Mm-hmm. But they always put the word easy. Now, I'll be honest, when I play a game on easy, I want it to be easy. You could even change it to lazy. I want it to be so easy that I could basically just sit there and do nothing and never die and win. You know, I want to be completely overpowered. I want the enemies to die in one hit. I want them to die when I walk in the room. Just, and drop all of their loot. And I will go pick it up and I will look through my swords. That's easy.
So what
Again,
you want?
it's semantics.
Go ahead, Red.
So Casual confirmed he wants clicker heroes.
Exactly.
Yes. No. Even clicker heroes, because they make you unlock certain things with difficulty. So no, it's too hard.
So
Now,
the question
I'm
is,
not-
though, can we pull off the proper meh attack for it to be so incredibly easy for you?
Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that I want the game itself to be that easy. I want people that enjoy a challenge to be challenged.
Oh yeah.
But what I'm saying is there should always be, let's look at it from this perspective. Most games, when they have difficulties, they have 3 difficulties. It's normal, which is based on how the game developers choose to define normal.
Yep.
Easy, and hard. And oftentimes, what makes a game easy or hard is just adding more health to enemies and doing less damage and stuff. But outside of that, I want 5 difficulties to every game. Normal, aka challenging. Mm-hmm. Again, it's defined by the developers, and maybe it won't be challenging to everyone else, but that's where difficult comes in. Difficult will be more than challenging. It will be difficult. Then ridiculous. Because there are people out there that love insane difficulties. For instance, a streamer called Man vs. Game.
I was just about to bring him up.
The hardest games possible. He makes them harder. He plays on, he plays new game plus a million on Dark Souls. He's the guy that ridiculous difficulty is made for. On the other end of the spectrum, you have less challenging. Not easy, less challenging.
Mm-hmm.
On less challenging, it's exactly that. It's not as, however that's defined by the developers. And then finally, pansy mode. Or, if you prefer, casual mode.
I was just about to say casual mode.
I'm okay with either. I will play on pansy mode. I will play on casual mode. I want it to be so easy that I can basically just walk through the game. So that for those that require less challenge but they don't want it that easy, it's there. It's less challenging. And for those of us that, I know I'm rarefied, but that want a casual experience, gimme 99 Phoenix Downs, all of the Mega Potions, level 99 after the first enemy.
You take down the Robo-Skeleton. No, Robo-Scorpion, Final Fantasy 17. Game done! Sephiroth dead. Ares back to life. Eris, whatever choose the pronunciation of her name is. Game fucking won. Ladies and gentlemen, casual mode. The more you talk about this casual, the more I actually want this.
I think everybody would enjoy it, even if it's just for a laugh.
I disagree that everybody would enjoy it.
What, would you not?
Well, I know if you were playing Dead by Daylight and the killer had easy mode, it wouldn't be fair for the survivors.
Okay, that's a multiplayer game.
That's a
different
multiplayer.
animal.
Exactly. Believe me, there is such thing as easy mode for killers. All you have to do is play the doctor, put on 3 specific add-ons. Aggravation. No, it's not aggravation. It's, oh shit, what the hell are they? Oh shit. Basically what it does is, okay, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't hear or catch wind yet, I've become addicted to this fucking game. I've owned it for a very long time. I've owned it since the day it was released, was Dead by Daylight. It's just when it was first released, it was shit. It was awful. I loved it. It was fun, but it was an awful game. Because it just wasn't fleshed out. It wasn't ready to go. They should have waited before release. But you know what? That's not for me to judge. They did what they did because it's their business and whatever, right? But I've come back to it and fell in love with it again. Holy dog shit, has this game gotten so much better. So much better. I've become addicted to it. And I've literally, perfect example, me and Clark's are laying in bed this morning. She looks at me, what are you thinking about? I said, you don't want to know. You're thinking about fucking goddamn Dead by Daylight again, aren't you? Yeah, I am. It's a blast. It's a fun little game. It's just a fucking blast. It's just, it's got some problems. Like if you play the Doctor with those 3 specific add-ons on, it's quite literally easy mode because they have a thing called a terror radius, which will let you know that they're nearby. Normally, that's not such a big deal. Go ahead.
For those that don't know what Dead by Daylight is, it's a multiplayer game. You play either a killer, your typical horror killers, whatever, not counting Jason because they have their own game and they weren't going to give the license to Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
And then up to 4, I believe, victims. I don't
survivors.
Know
we're up to
survivors.
There's up to, if I remember correctly, it's 10 survivors now.
Wow, that's a lot. So yeah.
You mean in game, in each game? I thought you could choose from. Yes, it's 4 survivors in the round. Yes, I apologize.
Okay, so it's 4 survivors on a generic terrifying map, and when I say generic, I just mean pick your horror tropes of a horror map. The lakeside thing, the scary junkyard, the forest, whatever.
Yeah. The rundown insane asylum.
Yep, the rundown insane asylum.
Oh, that's new.
Yep, and there's also a Michael Myers update that came out where they added Michael Myers. He's called The Shape, and they have his home, the street he lived on is one of the maps.
The neighborhood?
Too. Yep, that's
nice.
also one of the maps.
So yeah, I just wanted to explain that for
Thank you. I was doing a terrible job at explaining, so thank you very much. But they have a character called the Doctor. His map is the insane asylum. He literally shoots electricity at you, causes insanity, which causes you to fuck up, start up the generators, which is how you open the main gate to escape, right?
Right.
Excuse me, I apologize for that. So you start up the generators, all of a sudden you hear the heartbeat going. Usually the heartbeat lets you know they're close. Oh shit, time to get away before the killer gets you. Here's the problem with the Doctor. The Doctor shoots his electricity, causes insanity, correct? Here comes the problem with the add-ons. His terror radius becomes half the fucking map, and when you hear his terror radius, your insanity starts to build up because he's close to you. No, he's half the map away from you. You're on the other side of the map, but he's on the other side of the map somewhere. Oh, I'm terrified. My insanity starts to go up to the point where if you get to tier 3 insanity, you can't do a generator. You have to snap out of it, and periodically you just yell. Just, ah! Hey, I'm over here. Yeah, it's just, and you're sitting there trying to snap out, all of a sudden, ah! Oh, fuck, I gotta restart my snap out. It's like, oh my God, please, fix the Doctor, please.
This has been a Stacey Rant brought to you by Rad.
But there are good things. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm bitching about it. I'm bitching about it because I love the game.
Sure. How long has the Doctor been out? Like, is he relatively new, or
not super new? Newer than say the Wraith or the Trapper, but he's not super new. He's been out for a little while. I want to.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it's pretty much the problem with the Doctor is the stuff that came out after him.
I believe those were not specific add-ons for him. Correct.
Yes, but they most likely came out with a different killer later on.
Okay, so the problem is balance with new content, which is generally something that happens. So in theory, what you're just hoping for is that they eventually balance it,
Exactly. And honestly, once again, I'm bitching about the game because I fucking love it. It's amazing. It's a fun little game. It's the first time I've ever gotten into a multiplayer game where I actually enjoyed it. This is rare as hell for me. So, There's an update coming out for this, guys. And I'm fucking amped. I'm insanely amped for this update. And I Casual knows why. No, Rad knows why, I'm sorry. You know what's up, Rad, right?
Sure.
I guess not. Never mind. I thought you were the one that knew about the update that's coming out.
All I know is what you.
I could have swore you were talking about with me. God damn it! I'm fucking messing up people again here. So
that's okay.
There's a Halloween update coming out for this game, and
which is appropriate.
And I'm losing my mind because they've added Michael Myers. Now the latest killer they added was Leatherface, the cannibal from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And now me going, wait, we have the Halloween coming out, and the code name for this particular killer is called the Sandman. And here's me. It's not confirmed yet, but here I am going, oh, could it be Freddy? Could it be Freddy?
Okay. Now, I don't play this game. I pretty much most of my knowledge of this game comes from when it first came out in alpha or beta, and I watched a bunch of different people play it, and then watching you play it quite a lot, and I don't know a whole lot about this game, but there is one thing I do know. The one thing I do know is that Jason is probably not ever going to be a part of Dead by Daylight. The reason Jason is not going to be, and I know you said Freddy Krueger, but bear with me. Mm-hmm. The reason that Jason is never going to be a part of this game is because some developer got the rights to Jason to have his own game.
Yep.
It's I assume it's called Friday the 13th. The game.
Yep. That's it.
Okay. So. Here's the problem with the idea that it's Freddy. Freddy and Jason are owned by the same film company. Now, if they gave the rights to a game developer for Jason for the Friday the 13th franchise, they might be shooting themselves in the foot to then go over to a different game developer and give them Freddy Krueger. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen, but what I'm saying is it might not be who you think it is.
I know. That's why I'm afraid to get my hopes up, but pretty much the entire Dead by Daylight community is going, well, it's fucking obviously Freddy. Well, I refuse to do the it's obviously him thing because...
And that's why I say that, because they probably don't realize that who owns what.
Yeah.
And since I know that Freddy and Jason are owned by the same film company, that, by the way, is why they were able to do that Freddy versus Jason movie, which was both terrible and awesome at the same time.
Yeah, that was about to say it was both.
So because of that, I wouldn't pin all your hopes and dreams on it being Freddy. Now, if it turns out when the Halloween update drops and they reveal that the killer let's live in happy dreamland,
happy
which
Stacy
is
dreamland.
is actually a nightmare, ironically, if it works out. If it turns out to be Freddy, that means that the film company has no faith in the Jason game, which means that maybe the Jason game just eventually fails and Super Happy Dreamland appears where Jason moves into Dead by Daylight.
Can I give you my opinion on the Jason game?
Sure.
Very awkward. Very awkward. And here's the biggest problem with the Jason game is this. Compared to a game like Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight, you have a myriad of different survivors and killers. Not just myriad of different survivors and then, oh, look, there's one guy with a machete and a hockey mask trying to kill me the whole time. You know what's going to happen. You know what his strats are. You know how to defeat him. You know how to counter him, whatever. But with all these different characters on Dead by Daylight, it's a challenge because there's always something new. Always something new. Well, not always something new, but it's always going to be something that can possibly surprise you. You know what I mean? Where with the Jason game, once again, it's just it felt a bit stale real quick, really fucking quick. And also looking at it from Twitch's point of view, I see Dead by Daylight still gaining decent numbers where Friday the 13th, doesn't get that good of numbers anymore.
I honestly have seen almost no one play Friday the 13th since it came out, and yet people are still playing Dead by Daylight. Here's the thing about that. My standard catchphrase. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. The reason that Dead by Daylight basically is better, it isn't just what you were saying. I mean, for one thing, from what I could tell, Dead by Daylight came out when it was in alpha. It was maybe not the greatest. It was a little bit clunky.
Yeah.
But it's been fixed. It's been patched. It's been updated. They are continually making it better.
Devs are
Friday the 13th,
working their ass off. Let me tell you what.
Yeah. Friday the 13th, the reason that it's not working is it's a year too late. Like, Dead by Daylight was already a year out. Like, it was in its beta mode or whatever and out for players to play. Mm-hmm. Friday the 13th came in about a year later. It was already behind the curve. About the only thing that it really added that I could tell was it added driving. Like, you can drive in cars.
Yep.
And the map is a little bit bigger, but to be honest, the map being bigger in that kind of game actually seems like a detriment. Like, it would make it a little bit less fun. So I think Friday the 13th, the game, is just, well, Dead by Daylight.
Pretty much just a worse version of it, personally. The main thing with this was, the main thing I could say was this. Here's the thing, to steal your catchphrase. When I went to Friday the 13th stream, I was like, I need to check this out. I sat there for, I think, 3 hours watching this stream. And I would say over half of it, I didn't even see Jason. I didn't hear his little thing go off. Nothing about Jason. Which makes me go, well, what the hell's going on? Over half the game is just prepping for Jason. That's it.
Right. And
it feels weird.
Maybe that could have worked. Friday the 13th would have been a great game if it had come out first. Because then everybody would have been comparing Dead by Daylight to Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Friday the 13th could have been upgrading itself. And here's the other key to Dead by Daylight. When Dead by Daylight first came out, it had, what was it, like 3 or 4 generic bad monster serial killer guys.
Yeah, one the Trapper, the Wraith, and who was the third? Trapper, Wraith, and I know there's somebody listening here going, Stacy, how could you forget them?
The point is, they were very generic. They were good generic in the sense that they filled a certain role that you want in a horror type genre, but they were very generic. Now, that actually helped them because they didn't have to license anything. Yep. They were working on the assumption that they would never have anything licensed. But because Dead by Daylight is a popular game, because it came out before Friday the 13th, the game, and because various film studios, because the developers approached film studios and said, hey, can we use your characters in our super scary horror game? By the way, horror is a literally dying genre, not counting the movie It that just came out. Mm-hmm. Of course they said yes. Most of these characters haven't been in films in years. Some are getting reboots. This is a chance for free advertising, essentially.
Yep.
So they got Michael Myers. They added another generic one, the Doctor, like you said.
Yep.
They got Leatherface, and now there's the potential of either another licensed one or a generic one. And either way, whether it turns out to be Freddy Krueger or not, I think you're still going to get an interesting character out of it.
Oh, I 1,000,000% agree. And, here's the best part of it, too. When you talk about cross-advertisement, You want to know what one of the survivors is? I'm going to say a quote. I'm going to see if you can nail the game, okay? Pale's here!
Wait. You're kidding.
Nope.
Isaac?
No, dude. Pale's here. Bill from Left 4 Dead.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
I remember that was the first thing I did was as soon as I turned it on, and I hadn't played this game for 9 months or so. Like I said, I played it right after release and kind of gave up on it, walked away, and came back one day. And I was like, wait, is that fucking Bill? Is that Bill from Left 4 Dead? And now at that point, they're also jumping into the Left 4 Dead franchise as in cross advertisement. So could this be their way of going, hey, let's help promote Left 4 Dead and possibly get us a Left 4 Dead 3?
Well, now I have to stop you right there because we all know that Valve doesn't do anything with the number 3 in it. So no, it could be Left 4 Dead 2 Episode 1 because that would be fine with their hatred of all things 3, but it won't be Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah, true. It'd be awesome. Let's face it. It'd be fucking amazing if they did pull it off. But it's just, the game is awesome. I was trying to find out who the first 3 killers were. I feel like a bad Dead by Daylight player for not knowing this. But yeah, I can't for the life of me find out who the first 3 were. But it's Trapper, Wraith, and someone else. I want to say Nurse. I really want to say Nurse, but I could be wrong.
Hello, Nurse.
Yeah, if you saw this one, you wouldn't be saying that, buddy. Unless you really like your women wheezing.
Well, you know.
You're like, whoa, is it going to spread its legs? Is there a wet spot? Wheeze all you want, honey.
Are you considering the Hillbilly?
Oh, Hillbilly. Thank you. Yes. God damn it. Thank you. Trapper, Wraith, Hillbilly. Those are the 3 originals. And that's where my hatred for the Hillbilly started. And now that I went back to the game after I took a break and came back, I'm like, my fucking God, the Hillbilly's awesome. All right, so enough of my talk of this game that I'm fucking obsessed with, Dead by Daylight. And once again, I'm not in any way sponsored by these guys. None of us are. This is me literally just talking about my love for them. If you want to give it a chance, just go check it out. It's not that expensive. Go on Steam right now, pick it up. Actually, I'll find out right now for you what it is. Go on Steam, go pick it out right now. It is $20 for the game. $20, amazing
and
game.
I guarantee it'll go on sale.
Oh yeah,
all games on Steam go on sale.
Oh yeah, plus it's got so much free replayability. It's fucking insane. Go give it a chance, give it a try. I guarantee you will love it. All right,
it's Halloween. It's a Halloween game. Well, it's not Halloween now, but maybe by the time you're listening to this, it will be Halloween, or maybe it's past. I don't know.
Either way, it's a great game. Go give it a try. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. Now, there's something we want to talk about here.
Segue.
Speaking of things that we remembered from our childhood, because we're talking about Freddy, we're talking about Jason, things from our childhood we loved, right? There was one movie that we loved, and we've talked about it before. Casual. I'm talking about Jumanji, buddy. We talked about this lightly.
So first of all, Jumanji isn't a beloved classic.
Oh, come on.
It is a cult classic. As much as most of us that watched it would like to believe, it's just a cult classic. Now that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. I really love it. I think the choice of Robin Williams in that was obvious, when you see how he plays it. I think that it has a message. I also think Zathura is a better movie. It's basically Jumanji in space, but it has a slightly better overall story. It's a little bit more coherent. Anyway, we all know there's a remake coming out with The Rock and Kevin Hart. Now, The Rock is a movie seller. You put The Rock in there, and he can sell movies. He was able to sell movies. Baywatch did not do very well.
Wait, there was a Baywatch movie?
Yeah, apparently it was awful. I didn't see it because I didn't watch the show. But the Jumanji movie, the trailers for it, they basically were showing a typical remake. Oh, we have to update this. We have to, it's no longer a board game. Now it's a video game. Oh, we're going to do video game tropes in this. Look how much we know about video games. Which, if you've ever watched any movie or TV show producer try and do something related to video games, all video gamers cringe at all the stupid stuff they do as they put Atari sound effects amongst their video game, which there's actually a reason for that, but it's inside Hollywood stuff. Anyway.
Wait, what? What's because it's now
because they don't have to pay for the specific sound effects.
I was trying to remember the word was not coming to me, but yeah, so
licensing issues.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
They have generic sounds that are in a sound library that they can get for free, and it turns out they're basically Atari sounds. Jesus. Anyway, so I just saw a more recent trailer for Jumanji, and if we're still doing YouTube stuff, there will probably be a link for this trailer somewhere. It both gives me hope for this movie, which is strange because I honestly I was not going to see this movie. Now I might go see this movie. Really? And I'll tell you why. There's a part in the new trailer. Most of the new trailer is the same stuff they showed before. The kids at a school in detention for whatever reason. It's like The Breakfast Club, if you ever saw that movie, only they're cleaning out someplace and there's an old video game and they all get sucked into it. That part, to me, is just reeks of committee decision making for films. Oh, we want to make this like this, and they have to get sucked in. But what gave me hope in this new trailer is the one new thing that they added. Some emo goth looking kid picks up a board game. It's Jumanji.
Really?
The original board game. He looks at it and he says, "Who plays board games?" And he sticks it on a shelf. The next thing the trailer says is, "The game will find a way."
Oh.
Now.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I hate you.
Right? Because now you're interested, aren't you?
Except for the fact that fucking, Rock is in it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean...
But there's Karen Gillian, too.
Oh, yeah, well, she...
It still doesn't give me hope that it's going to be a good movie. I still am pretty iffy on that. I think it's probably going to be awful compared to the original. But the fact that it's an actual sequel... that we now have confirmation this is not a remake, this is a sequel, gives me a certain hope that somebody is actually trying. Now, whether or not it's good,
Oh, man. Okay, now I'm actually interested. God damn it. I would love to see how they do that, how they make it, they set it up to where it turns into a video game, because like you said, it finds a way.
Right, and that part intrigues me. Like, I'm still not clear if I'm gonna go see it, but now I'm not actively not gonna go see it.
You know what? I'll wait for your review before I go. How about that?
That seems fair enough.
There's another.
I don't think Casual's review matters that much because you don't see movies anyways.
Listen, John Wick is happening. I'm in the middle of getting ready to do a huge move. Brand new studio, brand new apartment. Actually, it'll be a house. My cousin is buying a house. We grew up as brothers. We just cousins by peer relation. That kind of, anything. But anyway, he's buying a house. I'm going to be renting his lower unit. So me and him are going to be sharing this house. I get the entire basement to myself for a studio and jam space for my band equipment. It's gonna be fucking awesome. So it's a huge move coming in. But since my cousin will be living upstairs from me, we will be watching John Wick. Okay, guys? So bite my ass.
Okay,
Bite
Bender,
my
whatever you say.
Shiny metal ass.
There's another movie I want to talk about, though. Besides Jumanji, which now I'm interested in, and you bastards. There's another one I do want to talk about. And it seemed really interesting at first when I've seen the trailer finally. Tomb Raider. It seemed really, really interesting at first. Until the last third of the trailer. I was like, God damn it, it turned into this again. It was like, it looked like it was following the newer games. And I liked that a lot. Because it wasn't so much like, look at her humongous tits, look how sexy she is. It's, look at this gal who was born in this family but wants to go adventure like her father did. It's a lot more fun. You know, it seemed a lot more interesting. She looked like a real human and not a supermodel. I liked it a lot. And then it got further in, and I'm like, oh, and here comes the green screen. You know, maybe I'm wrong for that, but...
Rad, any opinions before you get drowned out by rants?
Aw, somebody thought of me. How nice. I'm worried that it's just Indiana Jones as a female.
I'm more worried about a different thing. So, I unfortunately saw the original Tomb Raider movie because I was, I'm forever hopeful that one day a video game movie will actually be good.
Hey, the Mortal Kombat one wasn't bad.
Watch it again. Yeah, it was.
I've seen Street Fighter. I've seen bad video game movies.
Well, those are worse, sure. But I'm just saying, the Mortal Kombat movie's not good. It's okay at best. That's not what I'm looking for in my video game movies. I'm looking for the first video game movie that critics actually go, that was a good movie. When that happens, first of all, hell will freeze over. And second of all, I will be happy. But here's the thing about this new one. For those that did watch the original Tomb Raider movie was about Lara Croft searching for her dad who's dead and a big mystery that revolves around him.
And her tits. Let's just be blunt.
Now, yes, PG-13 tits. Now, I may not have gotten super invested in the games, but I played all of them up to the point that the original Tomb Raider movie came out. I don't remember any major crux of the story being about her dad. It was always about getting some ancient relic that is going to destroy the world, and she has to basically destroy it first. That's what it was always about.
Right? I mean, I think her dad was talked about in the games at some point. But,
sure, but he was never like this mainline story that I have to find my dad. I must win an Oscar for finding my dad. And I feel like two things are worrying me. First of all, the actress choice. Now, I'm not saying she's a bad actress. In fact, she's an exceptional actress.
And she looks dead on with the new video game.
Yes. Alicia Vikander, I believe is her name. She was in a movie called Ex Machina, where she played a sociopathic robot. Spoilers. She's good. But here's my problem. First of all, the new games took a very different take on the Tomb Raider character, and I wasn't really a fan. It's mostly about torturing Lara.
Wait, what? I haven't got a chance to play it. I've just seen it.
Okay, so I played a little bit, and I watched a lot of it. Like, half the game is her being wrecked by the terrain, wrecked by guys that capture her, wrecked by escaping guys that capture her. She's like constantly getting broken, cut, bruised. Like, that's not what Tomb Raider should be about. It should be about solving puzzles and jumping around and, as you mentioned before, tits. What I saw out of the trailer for this new one is the exact same story of the original Tomb Raider. Oh, my father has left me a secret message and I have to find my father, and what's the truth about my father? I gotta be honest, Laura, we don't care. Go raid a tomb.
Right? That's the thing. I remember growing up watching her. She was just, the original game, she was independent. She was strong. She didn't give a flying fuck about her parents. She didn't give a fuck about her family. She just wanted to be strong. That was the whole point of the goddamn game, was that she's a strong, strong, independent woman who don't need no man. Ha 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 bullshit. Yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing for me when I played the games. It just showed Laura as a strong, independent bitch. I don't remember her whining over her father. I mean, maybe I just missed that part. Maybe casual, we missed it.
I feel like we did, because that's all that the first movie focused on, and that seems to be what the second movie's focusing on. Now, maybe it will turn out that that's just a small part, but the problem is the trailer is just showing us that. Like, it's... I feel like, and of course, the fact that she does look so close to the current game, Lara, worries me, because I feel like, based on the trailer I've seen, it's going to be more, oh no, Lara's in danger and she's getting wrecked and bruised and scratched and broken, and if she ends up with a broken limb at some point in this movie and has to fix it with some sticks and vines and then continue on to the end with her broken limb, I'm predicting that right now.
You're like, I'm done. Screw this.
I am predicting that happens at some point in this movie, and that's supposed to be some sort of empowerment message, but I don't feel that's an empowerment. I feel like the game had more empowerment than any of the movies ever did.
I don't disagree at all. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people out there who are going to think, well, God, you're a bunch of assholes. How could you say this about her? But it's the truth. I mean, shut the fuck up.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, by the way. Shut the fuck
up. God, Stacy ruins everything. But I mean, honestly, it's I hope the best. I really want to watch this movie, but like I said, towards the very end of it, I was like, I don't want to watch it anymore. It just seemed too much like my big problem with movies is it's all green screen, of course. That's something I've been bitching about for God knows how long. And that's
you just have to get used to that in the modern era, because that's all it's going to be in the future.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, it can be done well and it can be done tastefully. It doesn't just feel like it's green screen, but it just feels like this is going to be just a CGI jerk fest where it's like, oh, look how awesome our graphics are. Oh, and then to me, that's what it feels like. It's just, there's so many things about this trailer I did not like, but like I said at the very beginning, I fucking loved it. But,
Yeah, I agree. I think that the problem I have with video game movies in general is that there are ways to do them right and there are ways to do them wrong. Now, one of the ways to do them right is that you use the video game as a basis, but you don't adhere to it like it's the last word in. You don't stick to it like it's the Ten Commandments. You just use it as a general basis, because if you stick to it too closely, you end up with Doom.
I always forget that Doom was a movie. I legit always forget. Yeah. And
the other thing that There is one exception to that rule. There is one. The exception to that rule is if they ever make Uncharted the movie. Just rip the script directly from the game.
Because the thing about Uncharted is this. You play the game. Yes, you control them. Rad, have you ever played Uncharted before? Uncharted. I'm sorry. Okay, I thought you did for some reason. I would suggest you try it out. I can't remember. Do you do consoles or only PC?
You said doo-doo.
God damn.
I can go both ways.
Oh, God, I'm turned on.
Ooh, baby.
I would suggest you give it a try. There's the whole lineage out. I think the worst of them all was actually the first one, personally. But
only because of the mechanics.
Exactly.
But supposedly they fixed most of that when they did the full release.
But did they do a release?
Yeah. Well, they did like an upgraded the whole trilogy kind of thing because it had been out for a while and they wanted to make more money.
I think I might know my next buy.
And I believe they fixed a lot of the problems in the first game, which were mostly mechanical. The story and the general gameplay was just amazing in the first Uncharted. I thought it was even better in Uncharted 2. Less of a fan of Uncharted 3, but it was still good. And at the end of the day, if Hollywood would just take the Uncharted franchise, don't rewrite a thing. Literally just take every single word of dialogue, every scene in the game, and just translate it to film.
Because that's the thing with those movies. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Casual. Go ahead, buddy.
I was just going to say, you have your first perfect video game movie.
Well, because when you play that game, yes, of course, you go to shoot, you go to do the parkour crap, obviously, and you go to solve the problems and the riddles. But the main thing about that story, at least for me, was the storyline that drove that movie.
Yeah.
That game. Because you wanted to see what was going to happen next in the story. You wanted to see what the next, how Drake was going to, survive this, or how, oh God, what was his old man friend? I'm forgetting his name, and I feel like a piece of shit.
Sully.
You want to see how Sully was going to escape death this time, or how he was going to screw over the bad guy. It's so much fun.
You were invested in the characters.
Exactly.
And they got you invested fast. Like, it wasn't like a lot of games or even movies where you're like, well, I sort of care. And then like an hour later, you're like, okay, I actually care. It was within the first 5 minutes of the first cutscene, you're like, okay, I like Nathan Drake. Oh, I like this character with him too. I can't remember her name. The reporter.
What is her name? I know. I can't remember her name for the life of me. I'm sorry, everyone. I failed you as a podcaster.
I'm that invested in the story that I care about the characters enough to forget. Anyway, the point being, whether you remember the names or not, you're invested in the characters like immediately. The moment you meet them, within 30 seconds, you're like, oh, I like this character. I like where this is going. And as the story develops, you just get more invested. And by the end, you're like, no, or yes, whatever's happening. And I feel like even though I didn't particularly like certain elements of the third game, I still had that same feeling through the whole game that I cared about the characters and that I wanted to see where the story was going. Game-wise, too many set pieces, but,
I understand, but... Oh, dude. I would... Thank you for breaking laws by my house, guys. Can you guys hear that? Jesus.
This time we can.
I'm sorry, guys. It's almost gone. Okay, now the cops are gone. Yeah. Go shoot the assholes over on that side of town. Thank you. Yeah, my town's turned to shit, apparently. Moving on. It's just like we keep pointing out, it's just such a good made for fucking movie game. It really is.
And
that's it,
Yeah, and I would like to point out that because it's Naughty Dog that made it, they do have another one that is also a perfect, in my opinion, not for movie, but for a limited run series, like on HBO or something.
Are we talking about Last of Us?
The Last of Us.
I thought you were talking about Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, please. Actually, you know what?
Don't
Crash
you
Bandicoot
fucking
would
open
make-
your mouth and say that would make a good TV show.
A good kids cartoon. Come on now, you know I'm right.
Yeah.
Stupid antics, colorful character, stupid game, but I could see it as a cheesy kids cartoon that lasts about a season because that's about what most cartoons last.
Yeah, you're right.
But yes, The Last of Us would be an amazing limited series.
Well, as it is, Last of Us 2 is happening. And if anybody
which
was...
I'm confused.
How so?
Because didn't The Last of Us kind of end in a, spoilers, not great way for characters?
No, it ended in a great way. Ellie survived. He lied to Ellie. Well, okay.
Yeah, come on now. I've never played it because I don't have a PS4 or 3 anymore.
I want to send you a PS3 just so you can play it. It's that good.
But, like, I have seen it. I've seen the end. Pretty sure that it's not, it's not the kind of game that gets a sequel. So my question is, what are they doing for a sequel?
I would say The Last of Us is not good movie material.
Really?
No, not movie. Series.
I don't know, dude. Oh, that'd be such a good movie because I get so emotionally invested in just the story as it is.
No, it wouldn't. You already know the entire story from start to finish. Why would you go see a movie of something that you know is clearly going to be superior?
Same argument with Uncharted, though.
Yeah, that's where I have to stop you. The movie isn't for us. Or the series, in the case of The Last of Us, which I think would make a better limited series. The movie or series is for the people that have never and will never play the games.
Yep.
Because it would make a great story just on its own. So for those people that are never going to play the game because of various reasons, they don't like games, they don't understand games, they just don't play games. There are people that they might play games if they had got into it maybe earlier like we did, but they don't because, well, I'm 25 now, I've never played a game, I'm not going to start now, I
would like to bring up a particular example. Didn't Max Payne have a good story as far as the video game?
Well, okay. I think that's iffy, but the movie did not follow the story of the game. That's the other thing I'm saying is if they do it, they have to just rip it straight from the game. Don't try and adapt it. In this particular case, they can just take what's already been put down and put it directly into film. They won't, which is the worst part, because that's just what Hollywood does. But they could, and then it would be awesome. And I would argue I would watch Uncharted the movie.
Now, here's a game that everybody loves to hate. Everybody loves to hate it. Duke Nukem.
No Man's Sky? Oh, sorry.
Fuck you.
I actually like it, but
it's a great game as long as you walk in. It's a fucking awesome game. I love it.
It's actually gotten a lot
Which
better,
game are we talking about now?
Duke Nukem.
You brought up like 3.
Duke Nukem. Now, Duke Nukem, everybody loves to hate it, but what if, because there was that short 80s superhero revival, not superhero, 80s action hero revival series going on. I know a lot of his lines were stolen from movies. Is there any way...
Case in point, They Live.
Exactly. Also, Ash... Evil Dead.
Evil Dead,
yeah.
So, if they could get past the copyright for the movie, would it make it? And would it help bring in yet another wave of 80 action flicks?
The Duke Nukem movie technically already exists.
What, because the new game?
It's called Deadpool.
I have to agree. Like, yeah, I know it's not exactly the same, but
it's close. You're right.
It's close enough.
Would Deadpool then give it a chance to live? Because I love Duke Nukem. To this day, I still love Duke Nukem. I don't understand the hate.
Duke.
The problem with Duke Nukem, it's a product of its time, and it needs its time.
Yes,
it doesn't work with like stuff today.
Mm-hmm.
It's too 90s. Like it is so ingrained in the 90s that you can't update Duke Nukem because that's stupid.
Because then it's not Duke Nukem anymore.
Right. And then like Tomb Raider.
What would he do? I'm here to kick ass and respect women, and I'm all out of women to respect. I mean, what the hell? How would you update him if you wanted to update him? Though, you know what I mean?
That's the problem. He's so ingrained in his time that the reason that Duke Nukem Forever didn't work was because it was too much of the 90s. Like we had moved past that point, and Duke Nukem himself is that product that is like Max Headroom. Mm-hmm. Does anybody remember Max Headroom?
Oh yeah.
Okay. You can't do Max Headroom now. He is the 80s. Max Headroom just doesn't work anymore. Duke Nukem is the exact same way. He just doesn't work. There's no way you can make him work in the modern with anything modern.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I just don't see a movie with him working. Like it would be too much. In fact, case in point, They Live doesn't really work anymore. It's a great movie for when it was made, but it just isn't a thing, Mm-hmm. All of the messages it was trying to say were really a child of when it was made. Yeah, Duke Nukem is just too much 90s.
I wish you would not say that. I wish more people would agree with me that it would work, because I would love to see it. But that's because, once again, I'm a huge Duke Nukem fan. I've always been. When the new game came out, I thought it was phenomenal. Because it was just Duke Nukem. It was all the awesome Duke Nukem shit I loved. Because it was supposed to be raunchy. It was supposed to be edgy. It was supposed to be goofy. It was supposed to be laughable. That was the whole point of Duke Nukem. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it was a horrible game. If you really think about it. But that's why it was fun. It was just fun. Plain and simple fun. That's why I would love, love, love to see the movie happen. But you know what? I can understand why people would think it's bad, even if I think they're wrong. Casual. Another movie I never thought was going to happen, but somehow apparently was. It might happen if Chris Tucker agrees to it. Rush Hour 4. Show of hands, who knew of Rush Hour 3 even?
Oh, I did. But
am I living underneath a rock that badly? I never heard of Rush Hour 3.
Well, yes, but we've already determined that because you're not a movie guy, and that's okay. You don't have to be a movie guy. Here's the thing. Jackie Chan is kind of making a comeback, like an American comeback, because he never went away in China. People don't realize he's made way more movies in China than he has in America. And part of that actually has to do with American filmmaking and the fact that he's been screwed more than once when he makes a film with an American studio. So he's not a fan of American film studios, and I don't blame him. That being said, he's got a new movie coming out. I believe it's next week.
The Foreigner?
Called The Foreigner. I think we talked a little bit about that. I don't remember.
I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't remember for the life of me.
But basically, people are comparing it to Taken. I would compare it to more like certain Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, but
so it might get two really shitty sequels where they keep just keep losing his daughter over and over and over again.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I wouldn't compare it to that, because his daughter at the start of the movie is dead.
Oh,
that's like the entire plot of the story is his wife and daughter are killed by terrorists. He wants to find out where these terrorists are, and in order to do that, he's messing with a guy that he believes knows where they are. It's honestly even closer to a movie called Law Abiding Citizen with I can't remember his name.
Butler.
Thank you, Gerard Butler. But either way, what it is, it's part of a genre that honestly Liam Neeson kind of created. It's called Jerry-action films. Now, geriatric...
Lots of stunt doubles, if I could speak correctly.
Yes, and lots of cuts. In fact, in Taken 3, there's one scene that has like 34 cuts, I think. And here's the scene. He jumps over a fence.
Are you shitting me?
All the stunt doubles.
The reason it has that many cuts is because Liam Neeson can't jump over a fence. It's like a not like a waist high fence. We're talking like a 10-foot fence. But he does one of those things that action movie stars do, where they jump up, they grab the top of the fence, they pull themselves up, and they throw themselves over. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Jackie Chan was younger, he would have done that in one take.
That was his whole
probably
shtick.
probably done a flip or something at the end or at the beginning or both.
Mm-hmm.
But now Liam Neeson isn't super old. People think he is, but he's only in his like late 50s, early 60s at most. But he hasn't actually led that hard of a life.
Yeah.
He's been an actor for most of it. Jackie Chan, who looks like he's about 90.
Yeah, he looks pretty goddamn old, man.
Also only in his late 50s or early to mid 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But he has led an extremely hard life. Before people remember him as action star, he was a stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was a stunt coordinator. Then he started doing his own movies where he coordinated the stunts as well. Then he became a little bit more of a star in his own right. He's led a rough life. I think he's broken probably every bone in his body. Probably pulled every muscle.
I'm not surprised at that at all.
So some people are looking at The Foreigner and saying he's too old for this. I'm looking at it and going, this is going to be so cool.
They already had movies with old action stars. Remember Lethal Weapon?
Oh,
right?
God, yeah.
I'm getting too old for this.
And they had, I was just thinking of another movie that had an older person. But either way, The Expendables.
Oh, that's, me referencing 80s action star coming back.
Yeah, half the cast of The Expendables is a bunch of old dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I think in light of this, and here's the other thing. I don't know what the specific source is for this news about a Rush Hour 4, but oftentimes actors, directors, etc., they get asked questions by the press, and they give a kind of sure, whatever response. And when they give that response, the press runs away with it. Like the press asks, so Martin Scorsese, would you ever do a superhero movie? And Martin Scorsese says, I don't know. It's not really my thing. And the press says, Martin Scorsese will never do a superhero movie. And he hates them.
And the press takes it as canon law.
Right. And then either the people involved have to come out with a statement saying I didn't say that, this is what I actually said, or they don't say anything and the press just keeps running with it. I have a feeling, because honestly, Chris Tucker has kind of been gone for a while. He did like a comedy special a few years back, and that's about it. I have a feeling that because of The Foreigner, Jackie Chan was being interviewed by somebody. They said, "Would you ever do a Rush Hour 4?" And he just offhandedly said, "I mean, if Chris Tucker wanted to, sure."
So Jackie Chan literally punted the question.
Well, here's the exact quote. Asked if the cruise show asked him if he was intending on making the fourth film next year. He replied, "For the last 7 years, we've turned down the script, turning down the script. Yesterday, we just agreed on the script. Probably end of this month, we'll have a second draft. Next year, they hope to start. I hope, if Chris Tucker agrees." He continues on to saying, "Rush Hour. It's about time." It's about having the time to make Rush Hour 4. Otherwise, Rush Hour 4, will never happen. Rush Hour 4 will be all old men. I told Chris Tucker, before we get old, please do Rush Hour 4. So he's literally, it's not him punting the question. It's him saying, we have a final draft on the script. We want to make this. If Chris Tucker agrees, we'll do it. If not, oh well.
Okay, well then, in light of that information, I don't think it'll get made.
You think so? I think it's just Chris is going to say fuck
it? Because Chris Tucker, he did one of those things that some actors do where they just disappear. Like, he was at the top of his game, and then he just kind of vanished. And whatever his reasons for vanishing are, we're probably never going to know, but he's done a couple of comedy specials, and I think he does stand-up every once in a while, and he's still funny enough that he can sell out a place, too. Mm-hmm. But he just doesn't want to be involved in that process anymore, or whatever. He's just like... I don't know how to explain it because I'm not in the business itself, but some actors, comedians, etc., they get sick of it. I don't know how to explain it, They just say, I don't want to do it anymore. And I feel like Chris Tucker is that kind of person. Like, maybe it's something going on in his life, I don't know.
Well, I think Chris Tucker was first and foremost a stand-up comedian guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not really an actor.
Well, I mean, look at Friday.
Well, yes. And how many movies has Chris Tucker put out? Not very many.
He actually has a small filmography, and 3 of those movies are Rush Hour. And the reason he did 3 of them in the first place wasn't for a paycheck. He enjoyed work. You can kind of see it in how he interacts with Jackie Chan. He liked working with Jackie Chan.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it'll happen, but again, much like Nightmare on Elm Street character coming into Dead by Daylight, I wouldn't hold your breath.
You just keep shitting on my dreams.
Hello, my name is Casually Challenged. I'm here to shit on Stacy's dreams.
Now with the all in monumental attack, meh. Oh, Jesus. I want to talk about one last thing, because I know we're getting close to end time here. We know it's getting close to Halloween. It's, part of Scaretober. Many of us streamers do a thing called Scaretober. I do it. There's quite a few popular streamers that do it. I want to know this. Because it is Scaretober, what are some of your favorite horror games? It could be from, Atari. It could be just came out yesterday. What are some of your favorites so far?
It's actually a hard question because for me, there's different like reasons for or different ways that a scary game scares you, different reasons that you play it. I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm not gonna pick one. There's a couple. So there's a game called Alan Wake. It originally came out for the Xbox 360. It eventually came out on PC, and because we all know that console exclusive doesn't mean crap.
That's something I'll get into soon.
We'll save that for another podcast. But it's not the scariest game. It falls into that general category of a scary game, but it's not the scariest game. But what it is so well made. It's about a writer who has writer's block, and he's writing a horror series, and it's very Stephen King-ish in that the writer gets trapped in his own story kind of deal, and I'm not going to give away anything else because Stacy might play it one day.
That's actually on the plan. So,
but it is a great game. The sequel, not so much. The sequel was a little bit piss poor, but the game overall is so well made from almost every standpoint, like mechanically, writing, everything about it. It's so good that's one of my go-tos for quote best horror game.
Here, I'll let you finish. I'll let you go before I start, Rad, unless you want me to go.
Okay, my favorite horror game would be Madden 16. Because the Vikings win the Super Bowl in that one.
Can we possibly get a ban on Rad? Can we fire him from the show, please? Fuck you, you fucking bastard! Jesus, what? That's not right.
It's right, and you know it.
They mostly live in Minnesota.
Oh, God.
Seriously, though, I don't do horror games, so I don't have a favorite.
Okay, some of my favorites, and they're for different reasons, as quite as Casual said, because it's impossible to say just one. One of them would be Alien Isolation.
I was actually going to say that as another favorite for a different reason.
Dread. Not because of necessarily jump scare. There are jump scares in it, of course.
Yes.
But dread. You dread that alien. You know that xenomorph is somewhere, and you fucking can't help but dread it. You know what I mean?
The atmosphere of the game just makes you on edge constantly.
Right? It's amazing. Plus, you know at any point in time that thing could pop out and eat your face off. You know what I mean? And also the fact that you have to also deal with the robots that are wandering around trying to kill you. It's just dread. You love it. You have fun, but you can't stop but go, fuck, I'm terrified. Yeah, you know I mean? Another one, Among the Sleep. Now, do you know what? Oh, God, it's so good. I helped Kickstart, not Kickstart. Was it Kickstarter? Yeah, it was Kickstart this one. I couldn't remember if it was Indiegogo.
Crowdfund.
Yeah, I helped crowdfund this one. It was amazing. Basically, you play the role of, if I remember correctly, it's a 2-year-old. So you really can't talk. You have a hard time walking. You're mostly crawling. So I guess at that point you're really just a 1.5-year-old. But you wake up in the middle of the night. There's a monster in the room. So you grab your teddy bear who can help provide light if you squeeze him super tight. And you have to go on this adventure to solve the problem, to solve what's going on, to stop this monster in your house. I don't really want to ruin and spoil what the ending was because it was good. It was a bit frustrating, but if you think about it, in the end, it was really good, kind of thing, But it was good because it brought back that pure terror of being a kid. Remember how when you were a kid, things were terrifying for different reasons? And this is a perfect example of that, of pure fucking terror. Of you put yourself in the mindset of being a little kid. And I think a lot of people also said this is the reason why the game failed, because they're like, well, how can you How can you represent that same terror that a little kid has? It's quite fucking easy if you get into it. Yeah, I mean, if you let yourself go, if you let yourself fall into the role of that child, you kind of lose yourself into the game. I did quite a few times, and it's silly because you see all these things that if you get done playing the game and you lose yourself and you kind of realize what you did, you'll see these huge structures, huge creepy trees that had 4 legs, and we're kind of sitting there. All of a sudden, you're like, "Oh shit, you're crawling through the house!" But the mind of this child twisted this and made it look scarier than it was. And that's why I said I don't really want to spoil the game, because the game, it's so fucking old by now. It's like, 4 years old now? So I guess, if most people have played it, they are going to play it. But
says the game is so incredibly old, says 4 years.
Well,
seems legit.
Shut up.
Hey, in internet terms, that's an eternity.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so good. Another one, Amnesia. Not a machine for pigs. That can lick my asshole. The Dark Descent.
Oh, okay. I want to comment because I was going to mention that too, along with BioShock. But here's the problem with both of them. The great part of both Amnesia and BioShock is similar to Alien. What is it called?
Isolation.
Isolation. Why did I want to say Absolution?
Nah.
Anyway, Alien Isolation, it's all about atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's about that creepy feeling. Now, both BioShock, the original, not any of the other ones, and Amnesia, The Dark Descent, have that in spades. Just, I'm constantly feeling this dread. The problem, though, and this is something that most games, especially in the horror genre, have, and I don't know why, but they all seem to. The problem is, it only lasts for about the first 2/3 of the game. Once you get in BioShock, there's a point where you get past, I don't know what the level is, but there's like this mall with a piano playing guy that you actually don't want to kill because of reasons.
Uh-huh.
That is the last scary point in the game. Like, after that, for whatever reason, I just didn't feel the dread anymore. And there are some people that would argue, well, it's because you played it so long that the dread wears off. And that's not it, because even on a replay, I still feel the dread until I get past that level. Because the level design changes to a certain degree. This is my opinion, that it stops being a dread game and it starts being something else. And Amnesia is the exact same way once you get into, I don't know how to describe it. It's like the green area. Like the whole atmosphere, like there's this cross bridge and it's like green. It's basically when it goes full Lovecraft and you enter the alien whatever it is.
Yeah.
At that point, Amnesia stopped being scary. Like, I was just like, I don't feel the dread anymore.
Another terrifying game? Doctor Who, the adventure games, just because the controllers were that bad. All jokes aside, there's another good one. And actually, I would love to hear opinions on this one. The Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, all 5 games. Now, before you just go, oh, fuck Freddy, I want to hear a true opinion. What's your thoughts, man? Both you guys, Rad too. I'm sorry for exiling you, not exiling, but pushing you away as much as I do, or trying to not talk, referencing you. I guess it's just me and Casual being cocksuckers. But what's some of your thoughts?
Another day as usual.
Yeah, we took over the mic. God damn it! But what are your guys' thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's, the whole franchise as a whole?
I don't get it.
You don't get it? Casual?
Okay, so I haven't actually played them, so my opinion is sort of invalidated. But so far as I could tell from watching people play it, because that's another one of those games that everybody was playing and now nobody does play.
Yeah, it's usually saved for Halloween.
It just looks like Jump Scare the Game done 5 times.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the mainstay for Five Nights at Freddy's is that's the only real currency it has in horror is the jump scare.
And my other opinion of it, and this was an opinion that I actually am going to crib from somebody else I watched that was like, this game sucks, is, and again, I'm not saying it sucks. You can enjoy the game all you want, but this is my opinion from watching it. It's not a game that you can win. Like, all it is just waiting to die and getting scared along the way. And while I get that that's kind of the horror genre when it comes to movies, because generally a horror movie, if you're following one person, you're just waiting for them to, like, either die or survive. And if you're following a group, you're just watching each one get picked off and wondering who's going to die first, who's going to die next.
If you're following a group, if it's the 2 actors, actresses that are top billing, they survive.
Not always, but yeah, mostly. And for video games, it's always a different feel. For video games, it is you want to succeed. And I don't know, maybe there is a way to win, but from what I was seeing, it just looked like it's how long can you last? And that just doesn't seem fun to me.
There is a way you complete the full 7 days, and at the end of the 7th day, you're done. That's it. That's about it. But it's cool. You know, I guess if you're into that, it's a very tunnel vision type of game where it's as if what is Scott? I can't remember his last name, but the creator was just like, well, okay, we got jump scares. Should we go? No, we're doing jump scares. You know, for that particular style of gaming, it's fucking awesome.
You're not talking about Scott Summers, are you?
No, not Scott. No, Scott Summers. Yeah, right after he was done making Cable, he decided to make a game. Scott,
don't forget, he also made Rachel. People forget about poor Rachel. Rachel Summers, the Dark Phoenix 2. She came from the future as the Dark Phoenix. She joined Excalibur. Sorry, we're getting off on a tangent. But it is nerd-related.
I don't remember Rachel or the Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. She was actually before Cable, too. That's another reason that it pisses me off that Cable became way more popular. Well, she is the daughter of Scott and the Goblin Queen, who was the clone replacement for Jean Grey. And she came from the Days of Future Past, which is not at all like what the movie is. And in the Days of Future Past, the Sentinels have basically destroyed everyone. Rachel Summers comes from that future to prevent it, and she has the power of the Phoenix. Only in her case, it's not the cosmic Phoenix, it's actually internal power. She's basically one of the most powerful psychics, which is kind of meaningless when every character is introduced as one of the most powerful X, because they do that a lot in comics.
Especially Marvel. That's always been...
Especially the X-Men.
Yeah, that's one of... Stan Lee. Stan Lee, thank you. One of his big crutches, I felt.
Jump scares.
I was going to ask you about Metro 2033. Have both you guys ever played this game?
I have, but I'm not sure I would consider it a horror game.
Really? Rad?
What Casual said.
Really? I mean, it's just, there's so much dread in it because of the creatures that run around. To me, I felt it had a horror element to it because of the dread.
But it's not the same kind of feel. Like, I consider it a post-apocalyptic game. Like, it's not about, like, the scare and will you survive the horror. It's about, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
I just never considered it a horror game.
Maybe it's just because I just got so freaked out about it the first time I played it. I may or may not have screamed once or twice. It's just, it's terrifying. If you let yourself lose yourself into yourself, if they think it speak correctly, if you let yourself lose yourself into the game, it does get scary. But that's just me, I guess. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for swinging in today. We've been rambling more than long enough. I think it's about time to pack it up. My name's Steve Skruger. Who are you two?
I am Rad Hazard, and be sure to subscribe at Spreaker, the Odd Pod Podcast. Patreon.com/Odd Pod Podcast. That's 2 D's in pod, because reasons.
He's used to saying, everybody subscribe to Stacy. Apparently he's just a little too used to it. Who are you? The one with the person who's way too casual with his life?
I am casually challenged, and yes, we do regret putting 2 D's in pod, but it's a theme! Or odd.
Yeah, it's because, we want to attract all the younger guys because they're obsessed with the double D's.
Fun fact as an outro. Why is the band Bare Naked Ladies called that?
Huh.
So they can sell out their very first show.
Ow! I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Each and every one of you have been absolutely amazing. We'll catch you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.